Chinese proverb goes, a wise man makes his own decisions. An ignorant man follows public opinions. Keep this in mind as we discuss today China-Pakistan, a Gwadar Port project, and what it means for the future of that region. My name is Dr. David Oualaalou.
And my name is Dr. Ross Stewart.
And you are watching Geopolitics in Conflict.
As we do every show, we want to thank you for your comments. They're actually very encouraging, they're actually inspirational, and you give us such good information it's hard to come by because you're there and we're not.
And that's true, Ross, and I am learning from it.
Me too.
So thank you for that. We also wanted to thank our Patreon members for their support. And for you, if you like our videos and you would like to support us, consider joining our Patreon membership. Once again, thank you very much. Back to our topic.
Gwadar. This could be a remarkable game changer for the entire country of Pakistan as well as the region. We're looking at a small fishing village that is being converted, thanks to a government contract with China, into a major world port. And this can open up not only Pakistan, but the entire region for big-time trade. What's your take on this?
Well, that's correct, Ross. I mean, this port has already made some economic changes, not only in the region, but globally speaking when it comes down to transfer of goods and so forth. But before we delve into this, I'd like to just provide you with a brief history about China-Pakistan relations. And when did this start? This started back in 1951, if I'm not mistaken, when officially Pakistan recognized, as a matter of fact, Pakistan was one of the countries, non-communist country that recognized China, and the only Muslim country that recognized the independence of China. So that's what was interesting about all that. So just to move forward to 2013, it was in 2013 when both countries have established this project as far as Gwadar. But their history goes way back. As a matter of fact,
Silk Road.
Silk Road, you're absolutely correct, Ross. Silk Road was used by some of the traders from China who were going over to the Middle East. And they were one, I don't know how to pronounce it, maybe you can help me out with this, Ross. How you pronounce this name here, Chinese. And that was...
Fa Xian.
And the other person?
Xuan Zhang.
Okay, well, those were over 2,000 years ago. Those were monks traveling through the Pakistan area. So that's how far they go. So Pakistan and China do share some old history between the two. But Gwadar port or Gwadar project, that is, it's really brought that relationship to the forefront. And Pakistan, as much as China also, it's benefiting. It's a win-win situation.
Oh, what do you know? China did it again. A win-win scenario.
That's correct.
Now, granted, there is a debt problem there, but somehow the Chinese will probably resolve it.
They are working through that with the Pakistanis, but also because of what it means economically and also geopolitically in that part of the world. So,
what we have is a very poor population in Pakistan, about 208 million people, who are living pretty dismal lives. And this could open up the entire country to wealth that they've never known before.
That's correct. Well, given its strategic location.
Yes.
If we can talk about why that location is important and why China chose Gwadar instead of some other
Why
place.
did they choose Gwadar? Just because it's close to Iran.
The Arabian Sea, to Iran, Afghanistan, and also India on the other side. you can just see why. As a matter of fact, now Gwadar provides the direct line between the eastern side of China all the way down to the port.
Probably the western side of China.
Western side. You're absolutely correct. Thank you for correcting me on this. Yeah, the western side. In
Zhejiang, for example.
Exactly, absolutely correct, Ross. And that's about 3,000 kilometers distance. So,
And there's already a major highway that the Chinese are putting in place from western China down to Gwadar.
well, actually, China went ahead and invested about $4.5 billion in infrastructure for roads, hotels, bridges, and so forth. And the other thing that came after that was what they called the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, an investment of about $41 billion.
Ooh.
You're talking about, because China is funding those projects. Well, China has money.
Yeah.
But also China thinking of its own interest as well, which is rightly so.
You know, we laugh about it every time. You mean a country that's actually looking out for itself and its people? That's what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. And this is why Pakistan agreed to that. Because they realized, they don't have the funding, they don't have the infrastructure to improve on Gwadar, or even to make it
Anything other than a small fishing village.
because that's all it was.
Right.
Now you got Gwadar that has like goods from around the world crossing through. And for China, it's part of the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative. That's
And the projections are hundreds of billions of dollars going through Gwadar eventually in the next 10 to 20 years.
That's correct. Well, because China and Pakistan signed the deal for China to lease the port for the next 40 years. But that was from back then, it's from 2013, 15, something like that. So you can just see why. Well, but there is one thing you need to know, and we need to discuss, of course, not only the economic benefits of it, but Gwadar also created a geopolitical nightmare.
Which is?
Well, because when you look at the location where Gwadar is, and as we mentioned, it's bordered by Iran, Afghanistan, India, and looks into the Arabian Sea.
It's in the far southwest bottom corner of Pakistan.
That's correct.
Relatively close to the border.
Yeah, by the
An hour and a
Arabian.
half.
That's correct. But also closer to the Arabian Sea, which is closer to the Strait of Hormuz. Why Strait of Hormuz is important? We all know 1/3 of oil shipments, a global oil shipment that is, goes through the Strait of Hormuz. So, and just for you to know, Gwadar used to belong to Oman since 1789. It was till about 1950s, in the 50s, where Pakistan purchased it from Oman. Yeah. So
It turned out to be a good purchase.
yeah, well, it sat idle for a few years because Pakistan didn't have. So with the China getting involved with Gwadar. So I believe China's decision to invest in Gwadar was a strategic. It's economic, of course, but it's of a strategic because the location of the port itself.
Exactly.
So why it creates a geopolitical nightmare? Because it creates tension between Iran and not between Iran, but also India and Pakistan. So, and this is why India went ahead and wanted to lease the port in Iran called Chabahar. Chaba, which is a Persian language, means four, and Bahar means spring. So, for spring. So,
What do you see the U.S. interest in this being?
Oh, the U.S. has been left out. There's nothing U.S. can do because there's nothing U.S. There's nothing. As a matter of fact, for India, I just find out that Iran has kicked India out because India didn't fund the project as it says it will.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're not going to waste Iran's not going to waste their time on it. And this is why it becomes geopolitical tensions that Gwadar created, because also China wanted to make sure that it has access to water. There are some conversations that are going on right now. I am not certain of. I have to check into this, and I will get back to you on that. Is that China is considering a naval base in Gwadar. which will be of a strategic given China already has a naval base in Djibouti, which oversee the Arabian Sea from the other side.
You know, this, the port of Gwadar is a game changer in so many ways.
That's why we said it is a game changer economically, but also it is a game changer politically.
And you don't hear about it.
You don't, because you take, for example, United Arab Emirates, Dubai.
Yeah.
Why is Dubai comes up in the conversation? It's because the services it provides. Dubai doesn't have, United Arab Emirates doesn't have any natural resources, but they're good at services, but also because of their main two ports, one of them called Al-Rashid, one of them called Jabal Al-Ain, if I'm not mistaken. Those two ports, a lot of goods from around the world go through that. But now with Gwadar, those two ports will become irrelevant.
Ooh.
Because the massive amount of transit or the goods that Gwadar port can sustain. Remember, the Gwadar port is a $61 billion project, and China's willing to foot the bill for that.
China understands investment.
They do. And this is why, just to go back a little bit into history a few years ago, when United Arab Emirates wants to undermine Pakistan by financing the opposition to Nawaz Sharif at the time when he was. As a matter of fact, he ended up in prison because of the corruption to the documents United Arab Emirates provided.
Sharif went to jail?
Yes, he did, because of corruption. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that took place, all that, but also because United Arab Emirates realized Gwadar is going to outpace their two main ports. So it became geopolitical tensions between countries.
What do you know?
Yeah.
How shocking.
So the United States couldn't do anything about it because it's too late. You know, there are now rumors that what Gwadar is not performing to its potentials. Well, yeah, they're still working on the projects because what's going on right now, they wanted to fence the area.
Yeah.
The locals do not want it because Gwadar belongs to an area within Pakistan that is ethnically, it's called Balochistan.
Yeah.
So the locals are looking at it like, well, that's going to leave us out of the jobs, whatever, which is not true based on what I read.
It's not true from what I saw as well.
Yeah.
And we also know that there's going to probably be a substantial Chinese community there. And the locals aren't going to like that either. But you know, if it raises them out of poverty, though.
Well, the Pakistanis are okay with that because it's bringing the technology, is bringing the know-how, is bringing economic opportunities for that area. Because Pakistan does want to sort of raise that area out of poverty. Gwadar Port is that economic golden opportunity that would provide Pakistan for that. So that is the reason why they want to do that.
What would you say is the takeaway for our audience?
Well, it's the idea of understanding that Gwadar Port is changing the geopolitical dynamics within the region. But of course, you have to consider why, for example, Iran went ahead and cut a deal with China, the $400 billion. Of course, in my opinion, is India that's end up holding up the end of the stick as we speak.
The bad end?
Yeah, the bad end of it, because India has enough problems to deal with and so forth. But Gwadar, in my opinion, it really opens up the path for not only Pakistan, but also mainly for China. So if I am to evaluate who's getting more for what, I would say China is getting more so than Pakistan. But rightly so, because China is thinking in terms of its Belt and Road Initiative. When you consider 68 countries in the project, and you see how that's going to cut your traffic around the sea, because it's direct line.
Right.
They don't have to go around to bring the merchandise or goods to the Middle East or to get to, because China wants to pave the way to have its goods shipped all over the world. Gwadar provides that opportunity. So the takeaway basically is economic opportunities will keep going, not to our favor per se. Yeah, we're still gonna be always looking for cheap commodities. So
and boy, is China famous for that.
China's providing that for us.
So the conclusion here is Gwadar is a win for Pakistan, it's a win for the Middle East, and it's a gigantic win for China. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Also, be sure to check out our other videos. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
And as always, stay informed. Till next time. Bye-bye.